Hello, my name is Brian, and today we're going to be doing a special unboxing of a package from Ferry Morse. I want to first start by thanking Ferry Morse for sending this package over. They reached out and asked if I would be interested in reviewing their products, and I said absolutely. Ferry Morse is a company that I purchase seeds from till this day. I remember going to the local hardware store as a teenager and buying some seed packets from them and starting a garden with. Today we're going to be looking at some of the products that I picked to review for them, and then they also sent over some for me to review for them. And some of these products are have the beginning gardener in mind. One of the things that I hope to be able to do in the near future is to do instructional videos on how to start seeds. And the most important thing about growing a garden, especially if you're starting your own seeds, is to start with plants that are really nice and robust, and giving them the right start is going to set you up for success. If you start off and the plants are stunted, you're going to run into disease and pests later on, and you're going to be spending a lot of your energy fighting that. What's nice about Ferry Morse is that they continue to be a product that you can find at your local hardware store, and if they are a company that is not available at your local hardware store, what's nice is that you can purchase online as well. And for everybody, we're able to purchase online and also receive packages in the mail with their products. So without further ado, let's get into this box and see what I selected and what they sent over. Let's crack this open. Let's see. So it's a pretty big box. It's quite heavy as well. It's got 13 pounds on the shipping label, so there's quite a few things in here. Let's see what we got. Alright, the first thing is a big bag of seed starting mix. And we'll talk about some of these things in detail in a little bit if you're interested. But let's see what we got in here first. We got some Jiffy pots. And then there is a heat mat here. And then we got some seeds, or a bunch of seeds, and this is probably half of the seeds that are in my garden today. We grow quite a lot, and this is a lot. This is going to be a lot for the beginning gardener. So I would, if you're a beginning gardener, start with maybe 5 seed packets and grow from there. Let's see here. We got Super Thrive. It's a liquid fertilizer. Let's get a close up of that. And then we got, looks like a couple kits in here. These are tomato and vegetable. This is a kit for starting those types of seeds. And then you have a general seed starting kit here. It's the greenhouse kit. And then finally, we have a 10-20 tray, or a couple of them, with a dome. So that's what's in this box, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it for those that are curious about how some of these items are used, and especially if you're new to gardening, or if you want to, if you've been starting your seeds a different way and want to learn about starting seeds with the Jiffy peat pellets or with the Jiffy seed starting mix. So let's first start by talking about this bag of seed starting mix. So we have this big bag of seed starting mix, and this is a product that I have used in the past. It's a very nice and light seed starting medium, and this is really important because if it's too heavy, your seeds are going to be weighed down, and then they're also going to be rotting in the soil. And it's also a very sterile type of seed starting mix. And then next to it is this are these Jiffy pots. And what I like about these Jiffy pots is that you can use the seed starting mix and then start your larger seeds like your zucchinis, cucumbers, and watermelons and such. So this is great. This is a good size. I selected the 3-inch size because they're the right size for getting your plant starts. What you don't want is too large of a container. You're going to be using more of this stuff, and also It just takes up more space if you're starting indoors, especially if you have limited space indoors. So the other thing that's nice about these pots is that if you're a beginning gardener, this is something that you can pick up really quickly. If you're getting the professional seed starting pots like what we've gravitated to, it can be really difficult to do in terms of costs. It's going to be a lot because you have to buy them in bulk and such. So this is really great for those seeds. And then for the majority of the seeds, the peat discs, they're in this kit here. These are little tiny discs that will expand when you add warm water to them. And what's nice is that they are self-contained. You're not filling soil. You're just adding water, putting the seeds in, and you're good to go. And then this kit comes with a dome. And we'll talk about domes because here's a seed starting tray with a dome. The dome is really helpful. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's super helpful in that it maintains the humidity and it will get your seeds to germinate a little bit quicker. And once they germinate and sprout, you want to take the dome off. The key when starting plants is that you don't want your seeds sitting in the soil medium for the longest time. What happens is that they will get exposed to cold or other types of bacteria, and then they'll just not sprout or they will not grow into healthy plants. So with the dome, it gets them to sprout a lot quicker. The other thing that helps them sprout is a heat mat. So this is something that I would recommend for the beginning gardener to add on to your seed starting equipment is a heat mat. This is not absolutely necessary for everyone, especially here in Southern California. You can start in the warm months, but if you want to get an early start or if you're in a colder climate, the heat mat is going to be a necessity. What's also a necessity for, I would say, everyone is if you're starting the seeds that like warm temperatures like peppers and eggplants. Without the heat mat, they can take months to start or they'll just stay under the soil and just rot away. So heat mat's absolutely necessary for peppers and eggplants, and this is something that I use when I start my seeds. So it gets them out. That's the key. Get the seeds in and then let them sprout as soon as they can. So that's the other thing, is to start with really good seeds or really fresh seeds. We try to save as many seeds as possible because they sprout the quickest. And seeds from Ferry Morse have also been really good at sprouting. They have really high germination rates, but more importantly, they're not sitting in the soil for too long. You put them in and they're going to sprout within the time that the seed packets are listing, or if you have a dome, they'll sometimes go a little bit quicker. So we have a lot of seed packets in here, and if you're interested, I'll just go and list them off at towards the end of this video because I don't want to forget this thing here, which is liquid fertilizer. One of the things about these seed starting mediums is that they are very sterile, which means they also don't contain a lot of the nutrients that are going to be required by the seedlings to grow. So the Jiffy pots will contain a little bit of fertilizer most of the times to get them going, but afterwards you're going to need to feed them. So a liquid fertilizer is something that you're going to want to use to feed the plants on a weekly basis or on the interval that is recommended by that fertilizer. The liquid fertilizer called Super Thrive is something that I haven't used in the past, so I'm very excited to be doing a review for them. These reviews I'm not going to be posting online. These are reviews for the company, and they may end up on the company feedback product description where you see reviews. So you're going to see my honest review on these products over there as well. And then finally, let's get into seed packets. If you can imagine, this is half of the stuff that I grow or start growing in the spring for our garden. And I'm an avid gardener, and I would say that I'm maybe also an urban farmer now because I grow the majority of the food that we eat as a family of 4 with kids 7 and under. So it's a very good feeling to be able to do that. And if you're starting out, remember to go slow. Start with maybe 5 seed packets and set yourself up for success by concentrating on those plants and getting them to grow, and they'll then give you a nice boost of energy to expand. So before you know it, you're going to be growing a bunch like us. So these are some of the ones that I like to grow and have grown from them in the past and continue to do so. So my favorite slicing tomato is this turkey purple, and this is one that we're going to grow year after year. And if you come and visit our channel for updates, you'll see this tomato in our garden, and we got some growing right now. As a matter of fact, we got some green beans, and this is one that I haven't grown myself personally. But green beans, if you grow them, harvest them when they're nice and tender, and they're super tasty. That's one of the things about growing your garden, is that you can harvest early and get to taste a different taste on vegetables that you may not like. Green beans is one of them. Kale is another. We're gonna save the herbs to the end. There's a spinach that I grow year round, and I try to grow it year round. This is a Bloomsdale long-standing. It's a nice warm climate spinach, great for Southern California. And spinach is a super practical plant, and I'm a very pragmatic person. I love the spinach because you can throw it in stir fries, soups. You can have it fresh in your hamburger or sandwich. Those are some of the things that you can do with spinach, and it grows very easily for the beginning gardener as well. We got some sunflowers, and this is the Autumn Beauty Mix. Sunflowers are a very easy plant to grow. I love growing sunflowers, and I've learned that they are a very pragmatic plant as well. If you're into permaculture, you can grow this in our California clay or soil that has low nutrients, and in the sun they grow and they produce leaves that you can use to compost with. Their stalks you can use as bean poles, and then with the seeds you can feed birds, or if you have pets like chickens and rabbit, you can give it to them as treats. Let's see, another flower is the marigold, and this is the French type. They're great for fighting nematodes, and they also add interest to the garden. In warm climates like California, we have nematodes that are prevalent, and they will reduce the production of our tomato plants once it gets really warm. So marigolds are great. Grow them, and you can also turn them into soil, and they will fight the nematodes in the soil. Another good flower for the garden are cosmos. Let's see, here is an Asian green. This is pak choi, and it's also most commonly known as bok choy. And this is a cool season crop that we like to grow, and that's good. That's a good one to grow. It's semi versatile in the kitchen. Like spinach, we can throw them in stir fries and also in soups, but not really good on sandwiches, in my opinion. Peppers. This is the jalapeno peppers. It's TAM. I believe that stands for Texas A&M, and it is probably a variety that's been developed there. And the jalapeno pepper is an easy one to grow. I love growing them to make pickles with and add them in soup noodles. So that's one that I like growing. More flowers, zinnias. Zinnias have become a very popular flower these days because they're easy to grow. They love sun, and they can grow in poor soil as well. They're technically a sunflower, I believe. So that's one that is great to grow. Let's see here. We got another pepper. This is a bell pepper. Bell peppers are fun to grow. This is actually a more challenging type of pepper to grow, but once you figure it out, it's actually pretty easy to grow in Southern California. So we'll have to do a video on how to grow bell peppers, but I love the different colors of bell peppers that you can grow, and it makes a very nice color for the garden if you just grow it for that. And to be able to harvest it and throw it into your kitchen is really nice too. We have another tomato here. This is the Early Girl hybrid tomato. This is one that I haven't grown before, and I've been curious about growing it. So one of these days we'll be growing this hybrid tomato. We have another sunflower packet here. This is one of my favorite sunflowers. It's the Evening Sun, and it is among a few types that I grow. And this is a red one that I like in particular. And then we have cowpeas. Cowpeas is a super productive plant. If you provide them somewhere to climb on, they'll produce so many peas for us. And we've been growing the purple variety, and the black eye pea is one of my favorite beans to grow. It's good for the kitchen garden as well, and very easy to grow. And then the remaining seed packets are some herbs. And as a very pragmatic person, growing herbs is probably the easiest and most impactful thing you can do for both your well-being. They're easy to grow, so they're going to give you a lot of happy juice when you see them growing in your garden. They're great in the kitchen because they're versatile. They'll add a lot of impact to a dish that's bland, even instant ramen. And lastly, they are quite expensive to purchase at the market, so they're going to do wonders on your pocketbook. And the best thing is you can come out to the garden and harvest some herbs. Parsley. This is a extra triple curled parsley. It's a curled type of parsley, and in Southern California it grows almost like a perennial, so it's a long growing plant, and one that makes it into a lot of dishes. The basil. This is probably the one I would recommend for most people to grow. It's great for the kitchen garden, and we have an Italian variety here. This is the Genovese or Genovese, and if you're into Asian cuisine, I recommend that you pick up a Thai basil as well. And it's an easy one to grow in the warm months. The main thing about it is to make sure you pinch off the flower buds that will pop up. So if you're on top of that, you're going to get large bushes, or rather large good sized bushes, I don't want to exaggerate there, of basil, and then you can pick them off and throw them in your soups. If you're working late or tired at the end of the day and you make things like pasta, you go in your pantry, grab a jar of pasta, throw it on. It tastes a lot better if you have some fresh basil. So just go to the garden, pick some leaves, slice it up. It's quick to do, and you're elevating your dish already that way. Another one that I like to grow and always grow is the green onion, and we grow some heirloom varieties, more specifically the Tokyo Long White and the Ishikura Long White, or I think Long White Winter, something to that order, green onions. And this is one that you can purchase from Ferry Morse as a green onion, and like the basil, it's a great addition to your dishes, and you can find green onions into your dishes and they'll elevate it so much. Instant ramen, if you're doing fried rice, if you're doing soups, slice them up, throw it in there, and it's gonna make it so much better. And then finally, the last item in this packet of, or the stack of seeds, is the sage. And this is a nice herb to grow in Southern California. It's a perennial. You can add it to your front yard as a landscape plant and then go and pick it whenever. For me, I don't use sage very often in my recipes, but that one time you need it, it's nice just to be able to go outside and get some leaves really easily, versus having to go to the market and pick some up. So sage is a really nice one to grow. It's a very pretty plant as well, so you can admire it from your house as well if you're growing it outside as a landscape plant. So that's going to be the contents of our Ferry Morse box. I want to thank Ferry Morse once again, and I want to thank you for checking out our video, and be sure to come back and check out and see what instructional videos that we'll be making for you. I hope to be able to do broad categories of seed starting. So for instance, seed starting of brassicas, which will cover the brassica family. That includes your Chinese kales, your Asian greens, to broccoli, sprouting broccoli, and let's see, cabbage and all that stuff. I don't want to say Brussels sprouts because we can't grow them here. It's been very difficult, but Brussels sprouts, if you're growing it in a cold weather climate, Brussels sprouts will be included in that general video. So until the next video, thank you again for watching, and we'll see you then.